Hello students, I am welcoming you all to part 4 of our series of chapter Units and Measurements. Okay, so as you all know, as I hope you all went through 3 videos which are 3 parts of Units and Measurement, in which we have covered most of the points such as units, then conventions, how to write units, then we have derived dimensions of many more physical quantities, right? So we have covered all of this. Before moving towards the next part, I just wanted to tell you one thing. As I told you in the previous video that we are going to study uses of dimension analysis in this part, in this particular part, alright. So we are going to study uses of dimensional analysis for this part, alright. So there are many more uses. Amongst which there are 3 uses which are basic and most important uses of dimensional analysis that we are going to study today. Okay, so one by one I will explain it to you by using example, of course. So I have written 3 of them on board. You can have a look. I will explain one by one by checking one or more examples, so that you will come to know exact idea about the uses of dimensional analysis. And after doing uses, we will come to know that there are some limitations while we are using dimensional analysis. So that also we are going to study in this part. So uses of dimensional analysis as well as limitations of dimensional analysis that we are going to study in today's part. Okay, so you just have a look at the board. There are 3 uses. I will explain one by one, but just have a look once. What are they? Just have a look. Okay, so I hope you have seen all of these 3. So we'll move towards by taking first one, which is dimensional analysis is basically used to check the correctness of physical equation. Okay, so what are the physical equations? You must have seen many more equations which are there inside physics, such as the smallest example is V, that is velocity. It is nothing but displacement upon time. It is nothing but equation. Then rather than that, kinematic equation you must have learned, that is V is equal to U plus AT. Displacement equation, that is S is equal to AT plus R, and many more. There are 3 kinematical equations, right? So you must have learned all of them, and we are going to see either they are dimensionally correct or not. So by using this dimensional analysis, we can check the correctness of given equation, such as F is equal to ma. Now what is exactly meaning of that? How you can prove that this F is equal to ma is right? So you can say that the RHS and LHS. Okay, so while we are considering F is equal to ma, that's basic equation in physics. F is equal to ma, right? In this, the dimensions of this side should be equal to dimensions of another side. If these both becomes equal, then and only then you can say that this equation is dimensionally correct. Okay, I am saying dimensionally. I am not saying only that kind of equations are correct when it gives the correct dimension. No, I am not saying that. I am saying dimensionally correct. Okay, so in this equation you can say, we will solve this equation also. F is equal to ma, right? So for this you must know dimensions for all of these quantities. There are 3 quantities, physical quantities: force, mass and acceleration. Okay, we will take first LHS and then we will take RHS. Okay, so by moving towards the LHS, which is dimensions for F, am I right? Yes. So as you all know, dimension should written in this form, in square bracket. So F gives you dimensions L1, M1, T raised to minus 2. Is it correct? Yes. This is the dimension for force. Now we are going to see either this side is also giving the same dimension or not. So let's see. We'll take RHS. RHS is MA, right? So dimensions of M is nothing but M1. There is no length, there is no time. So I just write M1. Or you can also write like this. L0 M1 T0. In this way also you can write, because as 0 is there, there is no physical quantity like length and time. Okay, because there is raised to power is 0. Then dimensions for acceleration is L1 M0 T raised to minus 2. Is it right? Yes. So as you can see over here, there is a multiplication of two brackets and bases are same for both the brackets. So index will get added. So I can just write a single bracket in terms of LMT. So as I said, bases, that means L, M and T. In both the brackets, bases are L, M and T. And what are the index? 0, 1, 0. And here it is 1, 0, minus 2. So I can add up. Okay. So as L raised to 0 is there and L raised to 1 is there. So I can add 0 plus 1 will be 1. So I will write 1 over here. For M raised to 1 is there and here it is 0. So 1 plus 0 will be 1. T raised to 0 is there and T raised to minus 2 is there. So 0 plus minus 2 will be minus 2 itself. So as you can see, this is nothing but LHS, L1 M1 T minus 2. So this equation, which is F is equal to Ma, is dimensionally correct. So we will take another example. Okay, so this is very basic example. We will see another example, which is kinematics equation. Kinematic equation is kinematic equation of V we are going to consider. Okay. So as you all know, this is the kinematic equation, which is V is equal to U plus At, in which V denotes final velocity, U denotes initial velocity, A denotes acceleration and T denotes time. Okay, so we are going to just see whether the equation is dimensionally correct or not. So for that, again we have to write both the sides. What are the dimensions for V? L1, M0, T raised to minus 1. We write RHS. For RHS, plus sign is there. So for both the terms you have to write down the dimensions. Dimensions of U, that is velocity, which is initial. So it will be the same. Okay, plus dimensions for acceleration, L1 M0 T raised to minus 2 multiplied by T. Dimensions for T. Okay, so I will write this bracket as it is, which is L1 M0 and T raised to minus 1 as it is, because there is a multiplication for the next term. So I will just multiply, as there is a multiplication of both the terms, both the brackets, and as you can see, base again. Bases are same. Here I can write L0, M0 and T raised to 1. I can write, okay. But as for our convenience, I just have written T raised to 1 only. So by multiplying, here T raised to minus 2 is there and T raised to 1 is there. As I said you, index get added. So minus 2 plus 1 will be nothing but minus 1. Okay, so this becomes T raised to minus 1. Alright, so as you can see over here, both the brackets are same. So I can just say this is twice L1 M0 T raised to minus 1. So as 2 is a number, it will not have a dimension. Alright, so I can ignore this. So as dimension of RHS is same as dimension of LHS. So I can say that this equation, which is V is equal to U plus AT, is dimensionally correct. Okay, so I hope you have got first use. We have taken two examples. First one is very basic, which is F is equal to Ma. The second example is of kinematic equation of velocity, which is V is equal to U plus AT. By solving this, we got both the equations were dimensionally correct. Okay, so we'll move towards the second. What is that? The second point is, so I just tick over here as we have seen first use. Okay, so now moving towards the second use, which is to establish relationship between the related physical quantities. Okay, so now what is meaning of this use? We are going to establish relationship between related physical quantities. Suppose you have given some physical quantity which are depending on each other, so you can establish relation between them by using dimensional analysis. Okay, so how to do that? Let's see by taking one example. Suppose I am saying a pendulum is there, a pendulum whose periodic time is capital T. Okay, it is having length L and acceleration due to gravity is small g. If I am saying that periodic time is related to length and also it is related to acceleration due to gravity, that means they are depending on each other. So how to establish relationship between them, or how to derive the equation of a pendulum? Before going towards the exact equation, I just want to let you know what is exactly meaning of pendulum. So you must have seen a wall clock which is having pendulum, which oscillates to and fro. Alright, so when it's moving from one side to another side continuously, so that is nothing but pendulum. Alright, so I will tell you by drawing diagram, which is this. This is nothing but a rigid support. Now what is meaning of rigid support? It is nothing but, we are going to consider it as wall. Rigid means when you are applying any kind of external force to it, it will not change its shape and size. Now in this case, this rigid support is wall. Okay, so I am hanging a metal block to it with the help of a string or with the help of a wire which is having length L. Okay, so as it completes one oscillation, it requires a time capital T. To complete oscillation, it requires a time capital T. It has length L and acceleration due to gravity is g. So as I said, this T depending on L and g. So as it depends, as they are related to each other, I can say this as T can be proportional to L and T can be proportional to G. As we don't know the relation between them, either they are directly proportional or they are inversely proportional. We are going to check that by using dimensional analysis. Okay, so as we said that T is proportional to L, right? We don't know either the power of L is either 1 or 2 or 3 or anything else, or it is half. So we just consider this as A. So T is proportional to L raised to A, and second one I will consider this as T is proportional to G raised to B. Okay, so if I combine both the equation, I will get T proportional to L raised to A and G raised to B. Now we are going to find out the values for A and B. So by using dimensional analysis, we are going to find out the values for A and B. Okay, so how to find out the values of A and B? As you all know, we are going to use this. So we have to know the dimensions for all the three physical quantities, which are they? T, L and G. Okay, so before moving towards substitution of dimensions, we have to say this equation in terms of equality. We have to remove this proportionality sign. How to remove the proportionality sign? Yes, we have to multiply it by some constant terms. So I am writing this equation as T is equal to K. I am considering that constant to be K into L raised to A into G raised to B. So I am getting this equation. Now we are going to substitute dimensions for all the quantities. Okay, so which are the quantities for T? T is what? T is time. So I can write it as in terms of L and T, right? So as L is 0, M is 0 and t is 1 because time is there, right? So as k is constant, it will not have any kind of dimension. So k will be as it is. Then again I will write it in terms of LMT. As L is what? L is length. So I will write this as L1 M0 T0 raised to what? A. So I will write A over here. Again for G it will be L, M and T raised to what? B. So as G is what? G is acceleration, right? So we are going to put dimensions for acceleration over here. What is that? This is L1 M0 T raised to -2. Is it? Yes. So I have put all the dimensions over here. Now we are going to solve this. As you can see over here, this is raised to n, this is raised to b. So we have to multiply this inside the bracket, right? So I will just multiply that. So it will be l raised to a, this will be m raised to 0 and this will be t raised to 0. Okay, next for this l raised to b, m raised to 0 and t raised to -2b, right? Now in this side what I am having L0, M0 and T1. Am I right? Yes. As k is constant, we are not going to consider that. Okay. So as you can see at the RHS basis, that means L, M and T is same, right? So what happens to the index? Yes, it will get added. So I can write this as combinedly. I am writing LMT for the first. Okay. So now here you can see L raised to A is there and here L raised to B is there. So as I said, index will get added. So this will become L raised to A plus B, right? M raised to 0 in both the brackets. So it will be a 0. T raised to 0 is there and in second bracket it is T raised to -2b. So this will become -2b. So by combining, by multiplying both the bracket, I get L raised to A plus B, M raised to 0, T raised to 2b. And at the LHS I am having L0, M0, T1, right? So now what to do next? As you can see again, bases are same. So I can equate the index of both the sides. We are going to ignore the constant term right now. Okay, so it will be as it is. Now what we are doing? We are going to equate the index of all the three quantities, all the three basic terms. Which are basic terms? 3, L, M and T. Now equating index of L. What you are getting here? Index of L is 0 and here index of L is A plus B. So I can write A plus B is equal to 0. So this is the first equation what I got. Second, M, 0. No need to write it. Third, T. Here T having index 1 and here T is having index -2. Here you can see it is -2b is -1. Is it -1? No, it is +1. So this becomes -half and this becomes +half. Okay, so as you can see over here, -2b is equal to +1, so b becomes half. Am I right? Is it +half or -half? It will be a -half. And by substituting value of b in the first equation, you will get a is equal to +half. So now we are going to substitute the values for a and b in a equation which is this. T is equal to k, L raised to a and G raised to b. Now what is a? A is +half. A is +half now. And what is b? B is -half. So I will just substitute value for both of them and I will get k, L raised to half and G raised to -half, right? So as it is raised to half or -half, it is nothing but under square root. So as it is raised to +half, I can say that that term is in numerator, and as it is raised to -half, that means it is in denominator, right? So even I can write this equation as this. L divided by G. So this is nothing but the relation between T, L and G, which is T is equal to K under root L by G. Okay. So by using the second, we have derived the equation. Now, what about K? We don't know the value for K, right? So you are going to put this equation as it is, alright? So we have even studied second use, which is relation between physical quantities. So we have done with this also. Now we are going to see the third, which is to find the conversion factor between the units of the same physical quantity into different systems of units. What is meaning of that? We are going to see, or we are going to find out the conversion factor. Suppose I say joule and erg are the units of the same physical quantity but in two different systems of unit. Joule is nothing but unit of energy, and even erg is unit of energy, but both are in different systems of unit. Joule is in SI system and erg is in CGS system. Am I right? Yes. So we are going to find out the conversion factors between both of them. That means 1 joule is equal to how much erg, or 1 erg is equal to how much joule, that we are going to find out. So there are many physical quantities which are having such type of units, and we don't know the conversion factor between them. We got confused. So by using this, we can find out. But for that, you have to know the dimensions for all the physical quantities. So that's why at the very beginning I told you that you have to remind all the dimensions. If you don't know the dimensions, you have to know the formula at least. By using that formula, you can derive the dimensions, and then you will move towards this order. Okay. So we are going to see the conversion. That means we are going to see the third use. Okay. So just have a look once, so that I will solve the third use by taking one example. We will take two examples for the third use. Okay. So that you will come to know the exact idea about it. So just have a look for the second use, so that I can rub the board. Okay, so I will drop this. I hope you got both the uses, that is first one and second one. So I can move towards the third use. Okay. Even I will rub this, okay? So that will take two examples of the third use, which is conversion factors between physical quantity in two different systems of unit. Okay? So, first one that we are going to see, that 1 joule is equal to X erg. This we are going to find out. This X. X is nothing but the conversion factor that we are going to find out. What is X? Okay? So we are going to find out. Now, to find this, what is the basic thing? You have to know the dimensions for the same. And for dimensions, you have to know the unit. What physical quantity has unit joule and erg? Energy. Right? So you have to know the dimensions for energy. So I will just write first LMT over here. X. Why I have written, I will just write it. Now, I haven't written dimensions, right? I haven't written anything. I just have the format, that is square bracket LMT is equal to X LMT. Now, as we said that we are going to find out from one system to another system and the conversion between them. So, we have to consider at the LHS SI system of unit and at the RHS we are going to consider this as Stigius system of unit. Okay, so I will just distinguish between them by taking suffix as 1 for SI and by taking suffix 2 for Stigius. Okay, now if you don't know the dimensions for energy, okay, forgot. If you forgot, so what to do? As you know, kinetic energy is nothing but half mv square. Am I right? So constant will not be under consideration. Then what is dimension for mass? It is m1. What is dimension for v? It is l1, m0, p raised to minus 1, and that is raised to 2. By combining L1, not by combining directly, we can just write this as M1 and this is the square. So L2, M0, T raised to minus 2. Alright, now I can combine. So this becomes L2, M1, T raised to minus 2. So this is the dimension for kinetic energy or energy, I can say. Okay, so we are going to use this over here. That will be L2, M1, T raised to minus 2. So I have just substituted the dimensions over here. Now, what to do? We are going to find out x, right? So I will just write x in another side, and this will get to the denominator. So I will write L1, 2, M1, 1, T1 minus 2 divided by L2, 2, M2, 1, T2 minus 2. Okay. So as you can see over here, I can just separate out the three terms. That means L, M and T. I can separate out. So I will just write like this. L1 by L2 both raised to 2. M1 by M2 both raised to 1. T1 by T2 both raised to minus 2. I can write like this. Now, what is L1? L1 is length in SI, L2 is length in CGS, M1 is mass in SI, M2 is mass in CGS, T1 is time in SI, T2 is time in CGS. Now we are going to put the values for all of them. So x is equal to L1 in SI it is meter, in CGS it is centimeter, kg upon gram is 1 second, then second is 2 minus 2. Okay, now what to do next? You have to know the conversion factors between meter, centimeter, kg, gram and time. For time it will be same. So this second will get cancelled and this will become 1 raised to minus 2. That will be 1 itself. So we are just going to find out the conversion between both of them. Right? So what is the conversion between meter and centimeter? 1 meter is equal to 100 centimeter. So 100 can be written as 10 square centimeter upon centimeter. Raised to what? 2. Because 100 centimeter is nothing but meter. Now in the same way, 1000 gram is equal to 1 kg. So I will write 10 cube kg upon gram. Is this kg? No, this should be gram. Raised to what? 1. And this is 1 raised to minus 2. Okay. So this centimeter will get cancelled. Gram will get cancelled. So I am getting x as 10 raised to 2 raised to 2. That is 10 raised to 4. And here 10 raised to 3 raised to 1 will be 10 raised to 3 itself. And 1 raised to anything will be 1. So I am getting this as 10 raised to, it is multiplication. Bases are same. So index will get added. So 4 plus 3 will be 7. So I got the conversion factor as 10 to the power 7. So I can write this as 1 joule is nothing but 10 to the power 7 erg. right? So this is it. Just have a look once so that you will get the idea. Okay, now we are going to see the second. In the same way, we are going to find out what is 1 Newton and dyne, not joule. What is 1 Newton to dyne? We are going to find this conversion. Now, Newton and dyne are the units of force, right? So before moving towards that, you have to know the dimension for force. What are the dimensions for force? If you don't remember, again I will show you. As F is nothing but m into A, am I right? So by substituting the dimensions, I will get dimensions for F will be L1 M1 T raised to minus 2. Okay, so I got the dimension for F. Now I am going to substitute. I will just substitute it in this way. Okay, you are going to write all the things. In the same way, we are going to find out. Okay, see what is that? L1 M1 T minus 2, right? So I will just write L1 M1 T minus 2. L1 M1 T minus 2. Okay. So we will do the same steps as we have done for joule and earth. So X will be N11 M11 T minus 2 L11 L21 M21 T minus 2 this to 1 this to 1 this to minus 2. In the same way I have done this. Okay, now again meter and centimeter will be in this way. Am I right? Yes. It is as easy as that. Ten raised to 2 raised to 1 will be 10 raised to 2 itself. 10 raised to 3 raised to 1 will be 10 raised to 3 itself. 1 raised to anything will be 1. So by combining both of them, you are getting 10 raised to 5. So the conversion factor between Newton and dyne is 10 to the power 5. So 1 Newton is equal to 10 raised to plus 5 dyne. So what is the reverse relation? 1 dyne will be 10 raised to minus 5 Newton. Okay, it will get reversed. So this is the third use of dimensional analysis. So I hope you all got all the 3 uses. What are the 3 uses? First one was to find out the correctness of any given equation. Second use was to establish the relation between physical quantities. Then the third use was to find out the conversion factor of a physical quantity between two systems of unit. Okay, so you can find out by using the same many conversions. As we have done 2, Joule Earth and Newton Dyne, you can find out for many more. Okay, so after studying dimensions, then uses of that, there should be some errors between that, right? So there are some errors, and the errors is nothing but limitations to use dimensional analysis. Now what are the limitations for the same? As you can see, as we have done many equations for these uses, we have derived the relation between T, L and G, right, for the second use. That was T is equal to K under root L upon G. But in that case, do I have to write down only K? No, there should be some value, right? So by using dimensional analysis, I cannot find the dimensions for the constant terms. So that is one limitation. Or if I remove the proportionality sign, even for that, constant of proportionality cannot be defined by dimensions. Okay, so that is the second limit. Now what is the third limit? Third limit, as you can see, while we are solving dimensional analysis, you must have observed this, that we haven't to any equation which considered of exponential, which has logarithmic or trigonometric functions, right? So that is one of the limitations. We cannot give dimensions for logarithmic trigonometric functions. So that will be the limitations. Okay, there is one more error while we are studying dimensional analysis, or we can say limitations of dimensional analysis, and it is that if we are studying uses, in the first use we say that that correctness of equation can be found out by using dimensional analysis, right? But what happened if one equation having more terms of same dimension? What happens to that? I will repeat again. If I am saying an equation is having two or more terms which is having same dimensions, I will give you example. If x is equal to ut, if I say the equation is x is equal to ut, what happens to this? You will find out the dimensionally correction for this equation. So we will find out. S is nothing but displacement. So it will be having L1, M0, T0, right? U is nothing but velocity. So this, we consider this as LHS, and we will find out RHS. What is RHS? Dimensions for U into dimensions for T. U is nothing but velocity, so it will be this into this. Am I right? Yes. So if I combine both of them, I will get L1 M0 T raised to, what will happen? -1 plus 1. It becomes 0. So you can see LHS and RHS both are equal. But is this the correct equation? No. Because the equation is having one more term, which is this is the correct equation. Behold, both the terms should be there, right? But if we consider dimensional analysis, in that one limit is there. If any equation is having more than two terminals which are having same dimensions, so you cannot say the correctness of the equation, right? So this is one of the limitations, right? So we have covered units as well as dimensions, and even we have derived dimensions for many more quantities, and after doing that we have studied about uses of that, then limitations of that. There were 3 uses and 4 limitations. Alright, if you have any query regarding this, you can comment down for the queries. I will solve your query. Okay, so in next lecture we are going to discuss the errors. Thank you.